A very good afternoon and welcome to Lunchtime News on TV1. I'm Michaela Fernando. Before we head into more news in detail, here's a look at headlines.
The body of the individual who went missing following landslides in Ginga discovered. Landslide warning issued to 7 districts. Will the Buona Vista coral reef be affected by the ship in Gaul? US shot down Iranian drone in Strait of Hormuz, says Trump.
The body of the individual who was reported missing when shops in the Ginigathena town were destroyed in a landslide was found this morning. The body was discovered following a search operation launched by the police, Sri Lanka Army and residents in the area. Owing to the prevailing downpours in the Central Hills, a part of the Ginigathena Kandy main road was subject to a landslide, destroying a 2-story shopping complex which consists of 10 shops. The victim is considered to have been inside the building when the landslide occurred. The search operation was launched following complaints submitted to the police by the victim's relatives. The deceased has been identified as 64-year-old M.L. Jamaldeen. Police said the destroyed shops included several grocery stores, vegetable stalls, 2 restaurants and a salon. The building also included a store selling ornaments in which the deceased was an employee. It is reported that the National Building Research Organization had on several occasions notified these shop owners in the area to evacuate the shops as the area is susceptible to landslides.
The risk of landslides in this area has been prevalent for the past 20 years or so. Therefore, we have evacuated the locals from this area several times. We closed businesses and shops in the area. However, despite our many efforts, they continue to operate their businesses. I summoned the owner of this business 6 months ago and warned him in this regard. I even showed him the reports. However, they refused to evacuate.
Locals and neighbouring businesses have been informed to evacuate to safer locations. Meanwhile, police request motorists to use alternative routes from Ginigathena to Kandy. The National Building and Research Organisation said the landslide warning issued to Ratnapura, Nuwara, Kegalle, Kandy, Kalutara, Matara and Galle districts with the inclement weather will be in effect until evening today. Senior scientist of the NBRO, Dr. Vasantha Senadira, requested the general public to be vigilant in this regard. Since the rainfall within the past 24 hours has exceeded 150 millimeters, if the rain continues, the NBRO requests the public to evacuate to a safe location to avoid the risk of landslides, slope failures, rock falls, cutting failures and ground subsidence. The General Manager of the Marine Environment Protection Authority, Dr. P.B. Turney Pradeep Kumara, said the ship that washed ashore in Galle due to the inclement weather is now in close proximity to the Buona Vista coral reefs. He added that this poses a threat to the Buona Vista coral reef. The ship named Sri Lankan Glory washed ashore last evening. Navy media spokesperson Lieutenant Commander Isuru Surya Bandara said the 2 people who were on board the ship were safely rescued. The spokesperson added that investigations are underway to determine if the ship harms the environment. He further said that operations are underway to revamp the ship.
There are around 15 tons of oil in the ship. There's a risk that the oil will spill when the ship is not in a stable state. This may pose a threat to coral reefs. We are conducting operations to remove the oil from the ship.
Still in weather news, 52 houses were damaged due to the heavy rains and strong winds experienced in the Valla village in Chilau. Our correspondent said strong winds were experienced at around 6 p.m. in Chilau yesterday. The Valla village in Chilau was the most affected area. 52 houses in the area were partially damaged due to the inclement weather. Residents in the area said the fishing equipment were also washed towards the sea due to the inclement weather. Our correspondent said the Sri Lanka Army and officials of the Disaster Management Centre unit in the area have begun relief operations to those who were affected. Due to inclement weather, power outages were experienced in many parts of the island yesterday.
Electricity was blocked in the Hinatia area on the Balapitiya-Vatugedra road last night when a large wood apple tree collapsed. According to our correspondent, the Ceylon Electricity Board's Sinigama Maintenance Unit had received the electricity a few hours later. Electricity had been disrupted as a result of tree collapses last night in several areas including Walasmulla, Buvelgoda and Agalagoda, Poravalla. Our correspondent said as a result of the strong winds, the trees had collapsed and there had been power outages in many areas.
With the heavy rains experienced yesterday, the water levels of many rivers and reservoirs increased rapidly and they are not returning to normalcy.
Heavy rainfall has decreased to some extent in the Ratnapura area this morning. It is also reported that the water level of the Kaluganga has decreased. At 6 this morning, the water level in the Kaluganga had dropped to 6.7. It is reported that all the sluice gates of the Lakshapana and Upper Kotmale reservoirs have been closed. According to our correspondent, the rainfall has decreased in the Hatton and Kinigathena areas.
The Department of Meteorology says prevailing windy conditions over the country and surrounding sea areas and showery conditions over the island, particularly in the central and Sabaragamuwa provinces and in the Galle and Mathura districts, are likely to continue today. Issuing a warning, the department said heavy rainfall above 150 millimeters are likely at some places in the central and Sabaragamuwa provinces and in the Kalutara, Galle and Mathura districts.
Windy conditions expected to continue over the island, particularly in the southwestern part and central hill areas during the next 24 hours. The Met Department says that strong winds of up to 70 to 80 kilometers per hour are likely over the island, particularly in western, southern, central, Sabaragamuwa, northwestern and north central provinces and in the Trincomalee district. Issuing a warning, the Met Department added that the sea area extending from Mannar to Pothuwil, Putlam, Colombo, Galle and Hambantota will be very rough at times as the wind speed can increase up to 80 to 90 kilometers per hour. The department requests fishermen not to venture in the above sea area and the naval communities are also requested to be vigilant until further notice.
In more local news, indictments were served before special trial at bar on 8 accused, including Arjun Aloysius, over the central bank bond scam. Stay tuned to News First for more on this. Moving on to more local news, the World Bank has reiterated its continuous assistance to Sri Lanka.
The World Bank Senior Regional Managers meeting took place in the island yesterday. Several officials, including the World Bank Vice President for South Asia region, Hartwig Schaefer, attended the event. Senior Additional Secretary to the President, Asala Veerakon, represented Sri Lanka. Hartwig Schaefer said the World Bank will increase assistance to Sri Lanka under the 3 of its new operations. Schaefer, who is in Colombo to chair the meeting, said that the bank decided to hold its annual session in Colombo to show solidarity with Sri Lanka as the country is trying to restore normalcy after the April 21st attacks.
Today marks the second day of the Gum at the Door-to-Door initiative. Our teams, currently deployed in 3 districts, will visit the people to document their myriad of unheard and unheeded issues.
කේන්ගෙට
Despite the rainy weather, the Gammatha groups visited the Serupitiya village in Kalutara South today. The main problem for these people is the drinking water crisis. There are about 400 families living in Serupitiya village in the Dodangade Divisional Secretariat area. These people are requesting for clean drinking water through a proper pipeline. The only road to enter the Valakada village in Kalutara is dilapidated. The request of these villagers is to renovate this road that becomes a mud hole during the inclement weather conditions.
You would have witnessed the difficulty to enter this village. The road is dilapidated. Although politicians promise to address the issues, they never do. Expecting mothers must admit themselves early because by the time you travel through this road, they would have delivered the baby.
Another Gammatha team visited the locals of the Ulukatavaba village in Matale. The main issue these villagers face is housing. This small house that provides shelter for 4 people stands as a testimony to their struggles. This village also lacks sanitary facilities. When our team visited the Ulukatavava village, we met this elderly lady whose main struggle is to nourish her disabled son. Another Gammatha door-to-door team visited the locals in Nagadeepa, Jaffna.
You're joining me right now on a special vessel from the Kites Island moving on to the Nainathew Island, or known as the Nagadeep Island. Yesterday we visited a number of houses, we met the people, we spoke to them, we got to know what their issues are, and we are here to do the same. Leaving from Kites on a special vessel carrying hundreds of people. Right now we are heading towards the Nainathew or Nagadeep Island in order to meet the people, get to know what their living standards are and get to know their life stories. We are ready to bring you the very latest, and we are ready to bring you the unheard stories of these people living on the Nagadeep Island. I'm John Fernando reporting from Jaffna.
Among the many issues they face, the lack of drinking water and housing facilities tops the list. Fishing is the main source of income for this rural village. Our Gammatha door-to-door team will engage in identifying the issues locals face in the Kalutara, Jaffna and Matale districts today.
Gammatha කේන්ගෙට